Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2026 Annual Enrollment Information Session with Steve Fox from P&A Group. He's going to go over the FSA enrollment. And Steve,
Take it away.
welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
I appreciate it, everybody. And I'm sorry you're going to have to listen to me for the next half hour or so, but hopefully we won't make it too painful. Just to kind of give you a quick plan of attack here, I'm going to roll through a PowerPoint for those of you who may or may not be as familiar with an FSA, just to kind of give you a brief overview. And then I will do a demo of what our online portal experience would look like for you, right? So you'll be able to see all this information and anything that might be applicable to your user experience once you go live with us on January 1st. Then I'll talk a little bit about the transition pieces, mobile apps, and all that kind of stuff as well. So just to kind of go quickly over what a flexible spending account is, right? It's for those of you who've got out-of-pocket medical, dental, vision expenses, and you've got to pay for them after the fact, right? So you're going to set aside money out of your pocket pre-tax to pay for those expenses. When you do set aside that money, you're saving state, federal, and FICA taxes. So you're saving roughly 30 cents on every dollar. How it works, right, is you will make an election during open enrollment. That election is what you will have available for the entire 2026 plan year. That election is available to you on a debit card, right, via the uniform coverage rule. And those dollars will be deducted from your account, from your paycheck as you progress through the year, right? So an example of that is here. You set aside $780, 26 paychecks. $30 is automatically pulled from your paycheck on a per pay period basis, right? There are two accounts, right? We've got the Health FSA and we've got the Dependent Care FSA. I'm going to talk about the Health FSA first, and just note that the Health FSA is for yourself and for your dependents, right? Out-of-pocket medical, dental, vision expenses. I know some people sometimes get confused and they put money aside in the Dependent Care FSA thinking that, oh yeah, my kid's got to have braces or something like that. Nope, that's going to be under the Health FSA, okay? So to touch through that Health FSA, I mentioned you got that full annual election amount and it's available to you on day one. So you have that $780 example, right? While it's going to be taken out of your paycheck, over $30 if you have those 26 pay periods. That $780 is going to be loaded on a debit card for you, right? Moving forward. All right. There are you can't really make any changes as it relates to the plan, right? Unless you have a qualifying event. So if you add a nice family member to your family, you'll be able to go in and potentially make a change to what your Health FSA election is. All right. On the Health FSA contribution limits, right? So it has been indexed up to $3,400, and you will be able to make that maximum election during the 1/1/2026 election period. Right? You've got a few sample expenses here, and you're able to look online on our portal and all that kind of stuff to see if you want to see if anything else is eligible as well as download our app. And our app has an EC scan feature where you can take a picture of something in the store and see if it's in fact FSA eligible or not. The FSA store is also a partner of ours. You'll see when I show you the portal what it looks like, right directly on the user experience, and it allows you to purchase expenses and have them shipped directly to your house. On the dependent care side, right? Dependent care is a little bit different, where you're able to set aside the dollar value, but yet you're only able to have access to those funds as they come out of your paycheck, right? So different from the medical FSA uniform coverage rule, all available day one. The dependent care FSA allows you to simply just submit expenses or use your debit card as we receive those contribution files and funds have been deducted from your pay. There is the new maximum up to $7,500 for individuals, and this is new for 1/1 of 2026. First time it's been increased in quite some time. Just a few sample expenses, right, for kids 12 and under, after school programs, daycare, any type of camp, summer camp that your kids could go to as long as they're not sleeping over would be eligible expenses in addition to the your typical daycare. The benefits card, right? So please note that the benefits card will work for the dependent care as well as the FSA, right? It's coded behind the scenes, and you will be able to swipe that card at the point of service. It's activated as soon as you swipe it on the first point of use, and you'll be able to log online and order any additional debit cards that you'd like for yourself, for your spouse, for any eligible dependent above the age of 18. There's never a cost associated with that. How to submit claims. If you decide not to use your debit card right at the point of service, you can download our app. You can log on to the portal, which I'll show you how to do, or you could go old school and mail it or fax the information into us. We do process claims 7 days a week, so claims are reimbursed. You'll receive your direct deposit within 1 to 3 business days, 3 to 5 if you want a manual check. I mentioned downloading the mobile app, right? So you can always go through there, check your account. There'll be documentation on some of the customized pieces that we've created for you and how to do that. And you'll be able to take advantage of just the simplicity that you might need to. Visual. You can also add your P&A card to your Apple, Samsung, Google Pay. So you can just take advantage of that tap to feature as well. And should you have any questions at any time, our customer service is available from 8:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time, as well as via chat. And one thing to note is every single person you would talk to via the chat or on the phone is headquartered in Buffalo, New York. They are a P&A employee, and we take pride in our call center and everything being in-house. So we'll be able to make that call that you make or chat that you make nice and efficient. Once you get on the portal, right, there's quite a few Penny the Panda videos. P&A, our marketing team created a panda just from that perspective, right? So to get away from the questions and still kind of just hit you with a bunch of information, we can take the questions at the end here, but hopefully pieces like this will allow you to make this transition as smooth as possible for you, right? So you coming from task, if you have a current FSA today, right? You've got an outline of what that process will look like for you. Okay. The last date you'll be able to use your debit card will be December 31st, but you do have the run out period through March 31st. And what that is that's just the time period in which you can submit a receipt for an expense that you did not use your debit card for in 2025 to task, right? So you can be provided that reimbursement. At the end of that run out period, right? You do have, if you have the carryover balance, right? Task will provide the employer with that report. We'll work with them, and those funds will be available to you in April. Okay, we'll provide updates as that process goes. But just to let you know, whatever your maximum carryover was for this current year, you will be able to roll those funds over to P&A, and those funds will become available on your card. Right. So notating that if you have an existing account, right, they'll be applied and you'll be able to submit a manual claim. So let's say you elected $1,000 in 2026 and you had $500 rolling over. If you incurred an expense for $1,300 in February of 2026 and you swiped your card, you'll have depleted that $1,000, right? Once you receive we would get the carryover balance from task, you will then, or we will be able to notate and provide you that additional reimbursement, right? With those funds becoming available, and or you can submit claims anytime from January 1st up until those funds become available manually, right? For us to reimburse you. So just note that those funds will become available to you as soon as we are able to receive that file from task. This is just a quick overview of what the debit card looks like, right? It'll be contact information from task here. This is all P&A's contact information. So this is what it'll look like if you're in the FSA now and what your experience will be with us moving forward, experiencing this transition. There'll be a separate piece, right? For those of you who did not take advantage of the FSA in 2025 and are going to newly take advantage of it in 2026. right? This piece right here will walk you through what your planned year will look like in 2026. So you have that $680 carryover. You know, you've got your run out period, just like you do now. Okay. Your use it or lose it rule for anything over that carryover, right? Just like you do now. So anything over what the you've got for the IRS for the carryover in 2025, obviously you would forfeit, but right in that bucket, just in 2026, you can carry up to that $680 over for those of you who are newly going to be enrolled. Right? And scroll down. This is where you get the mobile apps on the Google, all that kind of stuff. It just provides you a little bit more information. Once again, our call center, our contact information. If you have any questions, anybody can help you here in Buffalo. We'll share all these pieces once again with you. There's step-by-step instructions on how you log into your account, how you create your account. I can walk you through that in just a quick second. And I can transition to that now. Before I get into the portal, Ashley, do you want to see if there's any questions? It looks like there were a couple that
Yeah.
popped up.
Yes, one of them was, do we know what the rollover max amount is for 2025? And is there something we have to do to roll it over from TAS?
So I believe you can confirm what the amount was. I don't know if you had anything different.
From 2025 to 2026 is 660.
Okay. So the full max right from there, and there's nothing that the user will have to do. What the process will be is that Task will provide, Ashley and the team with a report, and we'll work with them to provide, to obtain that information and then apply those funds to your account.
Oh, and then another question, will the documents be available to employees? Yes, it will. It looks, oh, actually, we have a couple of more.
Sure.
Can you transfer funds to bank accounts?
When you say transfer, like there's no funds that would be transferred from P&A to a specific individual's bank account unless we're providing a direct deposit via a manual claim reimbursement, right? These funds are going to be directly from the employer to Task, from Task directly back to your employer.
All right. If we roll over the max from 2025 and the amount we request in 2026 is less than the allowable, is that an issue? Or is more?
More than the allowable for the year. So if the rollover amount, if they choose amount for 2025, the maximum, and then the rollover amount from, I'm sorry, they choose the 2026 maximum amount, and then the rollover amount from 2025 to 2026 is greater than the allowable maximum for 2026. Is that an issue?
No, so the carryover is separate from what you're allowed from a maximum election. So you can elect 3,400 and carry over 660 from the previous year to give yourself potentially, a little over $4,000 as an available balance in 2026.
Hey, Steve, I think that question earlier about the document being available to employees, I think they were asking about these ones that you're showing. This will come in their welcome packet, right?
No, so these are all customized that we provide to you as the employer. These
Oh.
aren't individually distributed to the users.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they will be on our website. Communications is currently updating the website, and they'll be added to our website.
Perfect. All right. And then I had a question. Can you just confirm that if you have a dependent care FSA that you do get a debit card for that?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. It's the same debit card, right? It's just programmed on our side. So when they swipe it at the point of service, they don't have to do anything differently. But the debit card is loaded for dependent care as well. So if someone's just loaded in, just signed up for dependent care FSA, they'll still receive a debit card.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And then someone has a scenario. If they allocate $1,000 to FSA but only spend $500 in 2026, does the max $680 rollover mean I will have 500 available for 2027?
So in this situation, right, what's going to take place is you're basically combining your elections, right? So you allocate $1,000 in 2026, you spend $500, and you had $660 roll over, right? I mean, the
Mhm.
answer to this question is yes, right? Let's say to take it a step further, you spend $500 and you had a $660 carryover from 2025, right? So now you're at 500 plus that, plus 600, right? So that's $1,100. You're only able to set aside and to carry over 680 to 2027.
All right, and then one more question. My spouse and myself each got a debit card in 2025. Is it still the same for 2026 for the FSA health card?
Yes, we will be mailing out 2 cards to all individuals. Then any additional or replacement cards can be ordered online, and I'll show you how to do that in just a quick second. All right. The P&A portal, right? Participant, you go to log in, and well, wrong thing. Make sure you go to reimbursement accounts, and then when you toggle down here, you've got options. So make sure you go here because that'll put up your FSA. And your first time logging in, you'll be prompted to click here and sign up and create your username and password once you receive the open enrollment. Okay, so do not go in and do this right after the call. Once we receive the completed open enrollment file and load that into our system, that's when you'll be able to do so, right? We'll work with Ashley and the team and provide them notification as soon as that is completed. It'll also notify you that the debit cards are ordered at that time and to give you a heads up that they'll be received in the mail within 7 to 10 business days. So you'll log in and this is what your portal will look like, right? So you've got the FSA, you've got quick links on the left-hand side. Everything's going to be straightforward for you. So you're going to click here, show hide plan details. Every contribution is going to be listed here for you. Every claim that's paid, every claim that's been submitted, right? Within 4 to 6 hours of you swiping your debit card, you'll be able to see that shown here on the portal. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory as it relates to funds that are going to be available, right? If you've got the FSA, if you've got a dependent care account, it's going to show separately. This will just say dependent care. Action items, right, are going to mirror on the right-hand side as much as they are quick links on the left-hand side. So you'll see, visit the FSA store, save $5. We are able to place various coupons on here for you to use. And you'll see the FSA store link right here. Okay. Several other resources from the FSA calculators to brochures will be all along the left-hand tab as well. We'll just go through the quick links real quick, right? So if you want to order additional debit cards for yourself, for your spouse, say your card was lost, stolen, you're simply choosing which card was lost or stolen, submitting the request to order an additional card and suspend it at that time. There's never a cost associated with this. Note that the cards do come just like every other credit card or debit card you've ever gotten in a junk mail envelope, just by law. So if you do order additional cards, they'll be received within 7 to 10 business days. As you kind of go through here, right? Let's say you want to go to upload a claim to P&A, right? You didn't want to use your debit card, you got points on your credit card, whatever your process is. You're just going to go to new claim. Just the account that you're enrolled in is going to show. Right? The mobile app has the same functionality. You're choosing your date range, you press continue, it's $150, and you just browse that documentation and upload it. You do not need to submit any type of claim form. P&A knows it's you. You're logged in here already, right? Make the process easier for yourself. Mobile app, just take a picture and upload it. We do have a 94% auto adjudication rate on our book of business. So we average about 4.5 million debit card swipes for the FSA a year. And of those 4.5 million swipes, 94% of them are auto adjudicated at the point of service, alleviating you from having to submit that additional documentation validating their expense. A couple other items here. If you do decide you want to mail or fax something in, come into here and click claim form. It's going to pre-populate all your demographics for you, right? Because we already know them. Why not make your life a little bit easier? And then you're obviously going to print this because you're choosing to mail or fax this in. And that's the only time in which you'll ever need a claim form. Continuing down the line here, right? Contact us. This is where I mentioned every person that you would contact and speak with between Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 10 is in Buffalo, New York. Here's the direct line. Here's the chat. Every chat person is the same people who field the calls here. There's no AI. There's no, third party overseas. We're kind of proud to have our continuous call center over 50 years in-house.
All right.
Signing up.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, we had two questions, one regarding the carryover. They asked the carryover and the amount selected in the new year must total $680 and anything over is forfeited.
Yeah, so in 2026, let's say you elect $1,000, you only spend $300, right? 2027 rolls around, you'll be able to carry over $680. You'll forfeit 20.
And then the other one was, will your domestic partner automatically receive a debit card?
All right, so we will mail out 2 debit cards to all individuals who sign up.
And I'm sorry, there was one more about the dependent care debit card. She just wants to know if she will be able to use the debit card once the funds are on the account and use it as a debit card.
Yes, absolutely. The one thing I just want to kind of highlight and throw a little asterisk at there is there are some smaller mom and pop type facilities, right, that do not have the merchant code systems built into their point of service, so they won't recognize the debit card merchant code, so they might not work. But if you go to any larger daycare facilities, summer camps, any types of facilities like that, their debit card functionality always matches up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And will they have the cards by 1/1/26?
Do you know when your open enrollment period ends?
It's annual enrollment is November 3rd through the 17th, and the benefits are effective January 1st.
Yep. Yeah. So I would anticipate if you're done with that, we'll have the open enrollment file and plenty of time to have everybody have debit cards in hand by 1 month. So just kind of continuing through here, right? Direct deposit. If you're uploading claims manually and you want to be reimbursed, you can sign up for direct deposit right here on the portal. If you want to put your spouse's information in here so they can contact our call center, you're able to do that. And then we can release the information to that individual as well, or any individual that you'd like us to. And then coming into here to modify profile information, right? You're able to opt in and out of email communications. You're able to opt in and out of texting, notifications, whatever your personal preference is. You're able to kind of drive that bus here. Another question?
Yes, for card use, do we select credit or debit at the point of sale? If debit, do we need a PIN?
So credit is what the majority of people select. By law, there is going to be a debit number that you will receive alongside your debit card, though.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it's one more. With the FSA debit card, can you withdraw funds? Can you withdraw from an ATM?
You cannot, no. The FSA debit card will be programmed so you can only use it for eligible expenses at the point of service. So if you're at CVS and you're grabbing your prescription and Band-Aids and the Snickers bar, you ring it up, you swipe your FSA card, the FSA item eligible expenses will be validated, and all non-FSA eligible expenses, the cashier will ask you to pay for with a separate method.
Thank you. It looks like another one came through. Is there a reason we cannot use FSA funds to purchase generic over-the-counter drugs or medical supplies?
I can add that to the list to throw at the IRS and see if they want to make any changes. Unfortunately, that's not something that P&A drives the bus on. We just follow the rules.
All right, that was the last question.
To note, though, if there is anything from a letter of medical necessity, right? If your doctors say that there's an over-the-counter, or if there's a vitamin, if there's something that's medically necessary for you, we always have this letter that can be completed by your doctor, right? And it's good for the entire duration of the year. So me, for example, I unfortunately had a surgery, and my doctor is a good friend of mine and said I could have massages or medically necessary through an FSA. So he completed this, and that's on file with P&A for the entire 12-month plan year that I have. Now, my debit card's not going to work when I go get a massage, but I can submit a manual claim into P&A, and when they see that claim and they see my account, they see the letter of medical necessity, and they pay it out to me.
And Steve, we do have another question. Is there a list provided of the covered and not covered items at the point of sale?
So there is quite an extensive list, right? So if you go right here to the FSA eligibility, you can type any kind of expense in here and it'll tell you whether or not it's eligible. So there's a nice little tool right here on the user experience that they can click from an FSA eligibility standpoint.
And then someone else asked, some glasses have interchangeable frames. Can I use my card to purchase these type of frames?
So I unfortunately don't know the 100% answer to that. That's going to depend if it's something that is a prescription or not. If it's a prescription, right, then it's under the vision expense from your doctor. If it's because, you know, the interchangeable frames look cool at the ball game, then unfortunately, I don't think that's going to work.
Thanks, Steve.
And from a user experience, right, that's the long and the short of the P&A side of things, right? The goal is to make this as efficient as possible for you to have all the information at your fingertips, for you not to have to submit that documentation constantly, right? Just to give you a brief example, we've been doing this. Our largest client's actually the state of North Carolina. They came on with us, and we've grown their participation by over 30,000 participants in 10 years. We're not wizards. We're just, take the simplicity approach of providing you what you need here. You're not on our portal to get high scores. You're on our portal to get the efficiency of pulling up your data, uploading a claim, asking a question to somebody in Buffalo if you need to. And that's all I have.
It looks like we got another question. What would be considered additional documentation that we would need to submit for a claim?
So if there's ever a situation that we're requesting additional documentation, right, and you click down on here, it'll actually pop up and there's going to be a box here that says upload documentation. If we need additional documentation, we're going to send you an email. We're going to send you a letter in the mail as well. And we're going to tell you within that letter exactly what we need, right? Maybe we're missing the date of service. Maybe, something came over that was very a generic thing from a dental provider, and we just need to see what that expense was. Not that you were getting some cool gold teeth, that you were actually having an expense rendered that is FSA eligible because the provider at the point of service you went to might not have used the specificity of the merchant code systems that allow us to match it up behind the scenes.
All right, then we have, would it be an explanation of benefits?
Not always, because it's not always specific to an EOB, right? It doesn't always have to be something that is tied to your insurance. It could just simply be a receipt that shows the expense and service rendered and the date in which it was rendered.
All right, and then what if the documentation is never submitted?
So if the documentation isn't submitted, we're going to reach out 3 times over the course of 70 days, 70. At the end of that time period, we're going to reach out the 4th time to let you know that we've temporarily suspended your account until either we A, receive that documentation, B, you pay the plan back because you can't provide that documentation, or C, you upload a manual claim on our portal or mobile app to offset the dollar value that you can't substantiate.
All right, and then will we have to submit additional documentation for every transaction?
Nope. So that's where, from a P&A standpoint, 4.5 million swipes a year, and we have a 94% auto adjudication rate. So we're asking for documentation on 6% of those 4.5 million swipes.
All right, doesn't look like there's any more questions.
All right.
Oh, One just popped up. If my doctor or dentist charges in more than one pay, like monthly payments, can I still pay with FSA without matching the full invoice?
I mean, let me see if I can read that
Are
question.
they meaning for each visit?
More than- So, I mean, you can use the FSA for services rendered. You can't use the FSA for services in the future. So if you're getting orthodontia and, you've got a payment plan because and you need to submit a service that has a date that has previously been rendered, we can't pay out future expenses with an FSA. That's the question. Anybody else has any final questions?
We can hang out for just a few more minutes just in case
Sure.
we have some slow typers.
Where can we view this info?
Keep
Where-
watching our website. We'll be uploading the those flyers that Steve had given us. And then also as they come along and any FAQs that pop up, we'll be updating them on our website.
And this recording will be available on that annual enrollment website as well. If anyone has any questions, use the Q&A. We can get those answered. Where will the recording be? It'll be under the annual enrollment webpage. If you go on the A to Z guide, go on the annual enrollment. Annual enrollment webpage, A to Z guide. Okay, she got it.
I think we could go ahead and, oh,
Oh, looks like we
another one.
do we have to pay into this account to use it?
No, there's no employee cost to this.
Ashley, I think we can go ahead and stop the recording
Okay.
and then I think we're good and we can end the session.